All right, tennis, anyone? Dear Billy Agassi. This person says, I have never heard you mention anything about playing tennis. It sounds to me like a sport you and the lovely Nia would enjoy. You're in your Jack LaLanne stage, and health seems to be important to you. Tennis is a great workout, and after playing a handful of times, you can actually see yourself getting better. In your case, we wouldn't call them tennis whites. We'd call them tennis pasty whites. Hey, everybody! Keep it going for that guy! What's your history with the sport? Ever give it a go? Yeah, I grew up in the 80s. The big tennis boom was in the 70s, so, the fallout of it was still there. I still have an oversized fucking racket, probably with catgut strings. No offense, Peter, but that's the way they made them back then. And maybe they're nylon. I have no fucking idea. I love tennis. I love watching it and that type of shit. As far as running around, my back and shin splints. I'm not fucking doing that. I see, those people who play those running around sports, basketball and all of them. You ever see those guys when they get to their 30s and into their 40s and they're still fucking coming out there? Tape from their ankle all the way up to their hips. Your body was not designed to fucking do that, running around. I'd play on a grass surface. If they got a local Wimbledon replica, I'd fucking play on that shit. You know what's funny? So I got a tennis racket like everybody. I played a little bit in the 80s with my buddies, and we would talk all kinds of shit. We go out there and we get drunk, go down to the public court, the one that had the cracks in it with the grass coming up and like no net. So you just tie a string across it and you'd be playing at night and you'd be arguing if it went over or under. Remember that shit? That's the way we'd play. We had a great time. And so when I moved out and I went to New York City, when I was packing the vitals, obviously the tennis racket didn't make it. And I remember one time I met this really, really nice woman, and I wanted to go on a date, and she suggested playing tennis because she was nice, rather than going out and getting booze. And I was like, yeah, I got a tennis racket. And I liked her so much, I actually had my parents mail me my tennis racket down to me, and I went out to Brooklyn and we played tennis. And she won. And that was the end of that relationship. I'm saying, no, the relationship lasted a little bit longer than that, but yeah, that's probably, I'm not into that shit. I'm not into, although I got to tell you, I went over the Brooklyn Bridge and I jogged across it all the way back to my hotel, and I was surprised that I had that kind of wind, but I got back into skipping rope again. Did I ever tell you guys, this is the workout that I used to do back in the day. I'd put on Classic Sports Network before they got bought up by fucking ESPN, and I would tape old fights. Or, if De La Hoya, he was the big guy back then, if he had a nice 12-round fight, I would record it. And hopefully it went like 9, 10, 11, 12 rounds. And then what I would do was when I would watch it during my workout. And what I would do is when the boxers were fighting, I would be skipping rope. I would skip rope and I would be watching the fight. And when they rested, I would stop skipping rope. And then when they, started fighting again, I was back on the rope. And I would just try to build myself up to see how many fucking rounds I could get to. And you really gain an appreciation for the kind of fucking shape that those guys are in, because you're just sitting there jumping up and down like, wee. They're actually trying to prevent somebody from beating the shit out of them while they try and beat the shit out of them. You know that. If you ever had a fight in your fucking life, if nobody trains to have a bar fight, it just fucking happens. Do you remember that shit? How winded you were after how long does a bar fight last? It's like usually under 30 seconds. You hear the glass breaking, you hear all the fucking shit. If you actually cut out all the shit talking and say, you want to fucking do this, you're fucking with the wrong guy. If you want to cut out all of that shit and just get down to the fighting aspect of it, it's usually under 30 seconds. And I swear to God, how hard you're breathing. It is ridiculous. And these guys are just 12 rounds of that shit. It's unbelievable. So that's the kind of thing, because I hate going to the fucking gym. I hate doing cardio and all that type of stuff. So I always try to have something going on that I can do that just doesn't have me staring at the clock and I feel like I'm in science class back in the day, you know? So there you go. That's one to grow on, everybody.